And I don't give a about gym trauma because I don't, it's not ever about me, and it's never going to be anything that I really give a about. Right? How's that? It's like, well, I don't like him. Well, then go over there and tap him if you don't like him. Because if I find out that you guys don't like each other, I'll put you together every night on purpose until you guys either respect each other or kill each other.
It's basically Hunger Games. Kurt's 7 p.m. class is basically Hunger Games.
Either way, I'll be entertained. You know what I'm saying? Either way, that's it. I feel that's what a good coach. He's like, oh, you guys got a problem? Well, guess what? You guys can hold hands and walk across the street now.
Welcome back to the BJJ Fanatics podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Ford. My guest today is a cult icon in the jiu-jitsu community. He's a 4th degree black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, a no-gi world champion, a multiple-time Pan Am's champion. He's currently teaching at a La Marinda Jiu-Jitsu in Lafayette, California, just outside San Francisco, as well as Ralph Gracie's Jiu-Jitsu Academy in downtown San Francisco. You may have seen him featured on TV as he was on Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown. His move of the week has been a hit now on YouTube for over a decade. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me for the 35th time on the show, my good friend Kurt Osiander. How are you today, Kurt?
What's up, Ryan?
How you doing, buddy?
But how many times have I been on?
35.
Am I the most?
You by far are the most, my friend. There's no one that's out. There's no one that's even close.
Right. God damn.
I think the next closest guest might have been like 5 times, maybe. So yeah, you are dominating the. You're dominating the episode count, my friend. Man, speaking of episodes, Kurt, this has been 10 years we've been doing this now. I just looked back. It's been 10 years that you've been coming on the show. Like we said, it's been 30. This is your 35th episode, but this year makes 10 years that we've been doing this.
God damn.
Flies, huh?
Time flies.
Yeah.
Flies, huh?
It's crazy. It's crazy. I appreciate you being one of the very early. I think that you were episode 3. Now we're on like 650 something.
Wasn't I the first one? What was the
first one? The first one was Dan Severn, because I ended up randomly on a road trip with him when I was just starting the podcast. So I took a little handheld recorder in a car, and he needed a ride after a seminar from Atlanta to Alabama to his next seminar, and so I rode with him and just like recorded us talking while he was driving. And then the second episode was Helsing Gracie. And then the third was
that had to be a good one.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. And then it was you. Yeah, episode 3 was you. And then once I had you on, it's like, dude, I got to get that guy on more.
What was your podcast called back then?
Grappling Central, the Grappling Central podcast. Yeah. It was the Grappling Central podcast for 8 years. And then BJJ Fanatics was one of our sponsors for many years. And then I merged with them in 2021. So yeah, now it's the BJJ Fanatics podcast, which has been it's been a cool journey. But dude, you've been a huge part of it, so I appreciate that. In fact, dude, did you see that montage that guy on Instagram made of like the funny moments that you and I have had? Shout out to Chokes and Subs on Instagram. You guys follow this profile. He posts really good stuff.
I put it up on my story.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh fuck. But it was funny. It's
funny. I was talking to the guy. I said, man, it's too bad we didn't do video for the first 8 years that the show existed, because there was so many conversations you and I had where you just hysterical stuff that you would talk about. And there's no video of it. It would be only audio. But yeah, shout out to Chokes and Subs on Instagram. I appreciate you guys capturing all that. How's everything going? It's been a couple months since we've had you on the show. To catch us up, what have you been up to?
Oh, well, first I had a slip and fall where I started drinking again, and that lasted for a little while. And now I'm back on track again, and I'm doing everything healthy and right, because I want to last a little bit longer. I want to last, and I want to have a good quality of life. I don't want to be all fucked up and miserable. So I'm addressing that very strictly now.
I'm very happy to hear that, man. Yeah. Things happen. And as long as you're able to get back to where you're supposed to be health wise, that's what matters most. I like how you refer to slipping up as a slip and you made it sound like an occupational hazard. Like you slipped and fell and had a beer.
Well, it was more than that. Let me just tell you about that. That was a lot more than that. But yeah, I kind of like had I don't know, I got triggered somehow, and then I fucking opened the door, and when my door opens, it fucking breaks off the fucking hinges. It implodes, right? And so then I had all of a sudden I was doing my thing and just drinking all the time, and then I got in trouble again. Was excommunicated for a while, and then and everything was kind of like deteriorating, and then all of a sudden a lot of my black belts showed up at my house on a Sunday morning, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I had a bottle in my hand, and they're like, "You told me 10 in the morning," and they're like, "Give us that," and I'm like, you know, no, and then well, they had to talk with me, and then I go, "Fuck." Nothing good is coming from this. And so I read this one book. It's called How to How to Beat Alcoholism Without Willpower. And like the book was very much more like me, common sense and it was kind of funny. And it's like, what's it doing for it? Does it make you feel good? No. Then why do you do it? And I was like, fuck, this guy fucking makes sense. And all it does is fuck me up, make me fucking crazier. Exactly. It's crazier.
Yeah, we don't need you any crazier than you already are.
Any crazier than normal is danger, right? And so I was being a danger to a lot of just innocent people that are walking around. And so it's like, so the book made a lot of sense to me. I got it from one of my black belts, Human. He goes, "You need to read this book. I don't think AA is doing it right, because AA is really like, you have to find your God, and I'm not super religion. I was raised Catholic and everything, and so I went to catechism. I was fucking altar boy. I did all the fucking things, and but AA is like really based on a lot of dogma, and it's like, and then you just read the rules, and everybody says, I'm like, oh, hi, I'm an alcoholic, and the meetings are pretty like very consistent and just so painful to me that this book and they're like, "You're still going to the meetings though, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, every now and then I'll make an appearance, but otherwise I'll just tough it out like I do."
The AA is something, their methods help some people, but it's not for everybody. It sounds like the book you're reading, it's more like habit based. Is it more just about building personal, like daily habits? Is that the idea?
Yeah. It's like, look, this is not helping you. It's making things worse. It's fucking you up. And like, it went through like how it fucks you up psychologically, physically, and then your life. And I'm like, fuck, that's exactly what it's doing. And I don't need any of these things because I'm already struggling. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy you're clean again, buddy. And you do look good. You look clean. You look trim. You look healthy.
I was fat like 4 weeks ago.
Were you really?
Fuck it. Dude, alcohol, you stop eating, like, especially for like an alcoholic like me, like I stop eating calories and I start drinking them. And I don't drink beer. I go straight for the fucking handle and get a bottle of vodka, and then start like infusing vodka daily all day. So it's not a good door to open. So I got to keep that door shut. And it's been really easy after those guys came over to my house and were like, "Hey, fucker, you're fucking up again." And I'm like, "How the fuck you guys know?" I don't know how they found out, but it must have got around. Everybody talks to everybody. So, and then after they talked to me, I was like, "All right, today's it." You guys saw me drink the last drink, and then I've been clean since.
That's outstanding. I'm happy to hear it. And man, God bless those guys. You guys, you're really, that's really, I'm very thankful that you have those guys in your life, those guys that care about you, that are close by.
And they came by and they're like, fuck, we don't want you to kill yourself. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to kill myself. And they're
Yeah.
like, really? And well, it'll end up doing it to you, whether
It
you
will.
want it to or not.
It will. It will. Yeah. I mean, slip ups happen, man. It's, don't be down on yourself too much, but at the same time, just do everything you can to not repeat it. Cause
Absolutely.
Well, we want you here for a long time, Kurt. We love you.
That was kind of like the last straw.
Yeah. We definitely want you here with us for a long time, Kurt. So stay on the straight and narrow, my friend. I know you can do it. Man, you've been cooking a lot. So obviously has the food that you've been making, been helping you keep the weight off, like, or lose the weight?
Well,
Are you following like a particular,
really healthy? And then I like all this nice tasting food. But if you go get nice tasting food and you DoorDash it or you go and get it yourself or whatever, everything is fucking expensive. Bro, I went and got some fucking large, yogurt land, that we have a yogurt land and you go over there and it's by the weight. And so I got me and Stephanie a couple cups, they're big ones. It was fucking 100 degrees. I'm like, I'm going to get some fucking nice, cool yogurt, And then I went over there and I go, okay, and then put them on the scale. And she's like, all right, that'll be $40
for yogurt.
For yogurt.
Damn.
So everything, no matter what it is, where you go, you're gonna fucking come out of your pocket for $20.
Yeah.
Right. Because before my budget was okay, my lunch is under $10. Now everything is over $10. And so that means it's in the range of either close to 15 or closer to 20. And then with two people, you just have to double it. So then I said, fuck it. I'm going to take this money that would be fucking regularly blown on to go or takeout or whatever, and just go buy the raw materials. And that's what you're in the kitchen, but it's fun to me. So I fucking prep everything, chop everything, get everything, do the dishes, then cook everything, and then do the dishes, but then you end up with really good food at your house. It's just, you have to, if you want to eat good, you're going to have to meal prep yourself, whether you're doing it for a sport or you're doing it just to save money. It definitely saves money. You get way more. I can go into the refrigerator and whip something up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember when I stayed out there with you, many years ago, we woke up one day and we're just at the house. I was like, hey man, you got any lunch around here? Or would you something good to eat around here? And you're like, oh yeah. And I remember you put together an amazing meal out of nothing. You grabbed like packets out of the cabinet, and whatever you had. And I don't even remember what it was exactly, but it was an amazing meal. So I know you can cook. I know you've got the skills. And like you said, if you cook for yourself, rather than getting one meal, it creates you multiple meals that you can last a couple days, So it is smarter to do it that way. But man, if you have the ability to make good tasting food like you do, that's a huge plus. You were making a shrimp thing. Yeah.
Do that. The shrimp was fucking so fucking bomb. It
looked
incredible.
amazing.
It was a really good recipe and I did it really well. I did some really cool shrimp stuffed what would it be? It'd be like a little fucking a little breaded fucking stuffed with cream cheese, scallions and shrimp in it. Nice. And I baked them and I made the dough and everything. So I made the dough, rolled it out, and then fucking put the shrimp mix in the middle and then fucking covered it. And then fucking, what did I do? Then I egg washed it and sealed them and then baked them. They were fucking awesome.
That's great. We've been talking about this. I don't know if you've talked publicly about it yet, but we were talking about you making a cooking show. You have to do it.
When I posted the shrimp dish, I'm like, hey, I've been approached about doing a cooking show too. And I'm like, cook with Kurt, whatever recipe of the week. I don't know what it'll be called, but they're like, fuck, let's do that. And I'm like, all right. And it could have a little bit of jujitsu in it and everything. and some cooking and everything. And it's like show you some fucking low calorie, high protein, like dishes that, you can definitely have when you're cutting or whatever, or if you just want to eat clean.
Dude, I think it's a brilliant idea. You got to launch a show. You got to launch a YouTube show, Cooking with
Well,
Kurt.
my cameraman, John, he's got the facility where they do shit like that. And he's all, yeah, we can go in and fucking use their kitchen and everything. And I'm like, or we could start out at my house and then work up to the big kitchen.
Yeah, dude, that would be awesome. I still think your show should be called Shut Up and Stir. Have you heard any other name recommendations? Or have you thought of any?
There's all kinds of
Cooking with Kurt's good, but I think Shut Up and Stir. There's another one we were laughing. You and I were laughing about this the other day, and I can't remember what the other one was. There's another one that you really had me laughing at. I forgot the names. In fact, you know what? For people listening, if you guys want to recommend names for Kurt's cooking show, email askosiander@gmail.com. Then we'll read those on the next episode. That's the same email where people send in questions every episode that you're on. For the listeners out there that don't know, you can email askosiander@gmail.com with questions for Kurt on the show. And as long as you include your name and where you're from, I'll ask him on the show. And Kurt, since your last appearance, we've had like a huge pile of emails come in, people asking questions because it's been a few months. So today's episode is pretty much just going to be a Q&A between you and the listeners since we got so many people messaging. So again, guys, ask osiander@gmail.com if you want to submit your own questions for the next episode. Kurt, the first one comes in from Yannick from Germany. He says, hey, Ryan, and Guten Tag, Kurt. He says, a huge fan of the show, and I always look forward to the episodes with Kurt just because they're so much fun. I'm a 36-year-old two-stripe white belt, and I really suck at jiu-jitsu, but it's mostly because the academy I train in is kind of far from my house, and I have two small kids. My schedule only allows me to train once a week. It's really hard for me to memorize all the techniques going to training straight from work on a Friday night. So I wondered if there's any advice you have about solo stuff that someone can do at home. Should I get myself a training dummy maybe? So far, I'm satisfied with getting in shape, like I've never been in before with jiu-jitsu, but my progress technically feels like it's going backwards. So Kurt, basically advice for a guy that can only make it to the gym once a week, but wants to improve his skills doing solo stuff.
So yeah, for the retention and memory like stuff, you can reference the internet and just watch the techniques that are either the exact same technique or something like the technique that'll do a mental cue for you. So the more you see it, the more you understand it. And then the other thing is there's so many drills that you can do by yourself. Just using the dining room table, and get yourself a heavy bag that everybody sells at the garage sale that's almost brand new for like $5. You can get a 50-pound heavy bag, or if you have the means and you want to buy yourself one of those dummies with an arm on it, with arms on it, that's always a choice. But they're so goddamn expensive, and the fucking heavy bag works just as good. And it is usually just almost being given away at a garage sale. And you can do like knee on stomach, side control, all kinds of movement drills. And then the coffee table is good for like swivels and stuff where you're using it to get that swivel like an egg so that you can do the pendulum sweep or arm locks and all kinds of stuff. And then I took it to extreme. I built I put a stud into the side of the wall, and then I fucking built this thing that I could like a frame of a human, and I put a gi on it so I could do lapel stuff and I could do sleeve stuff and I could pass through hooks and straight hooks and do the hip movement and the like the hack sweep and the trip sweep. It was quite an elaborate little like stick figure made out of 2x4. So
that's all. Did you wrap the wood in anything? Did you wrap the wood in foam?
No, I roughnecked it.
That's awesome.
Would get splinters and fucking get hacked and shit.
That's awesome though. It's kind of like those old Wing Chun Kung Fu dummies where you just practicing
basically that's where I got the idea. I was like, wait a minute, these guys are hitting a wood thing, and I'm in construction and I got plenty of wood, and I'm like, wait a minute, I could build a man figure, right, and then put a gi on it. But if you're really fucking crazy and into it, you'll find a way to drill, and you can drill all kinds of stuff. You can drill mount stuff. You can dismount, knee on stomach, step around, drop to side control, mount, dismount, move around 69. That's what I call it. And then, and
that's north south, everybody.
Yeah, I don't north south my chick. All right. I'm old school. So, but yeah, there's definitely, because of the internet and so much content, you can always look up the move and then pick one that looks like the one that you learned, and then just put that in your head and stuff like that. And then if you can, get yourself a dummy with arms on it, you can start practicing the arm lock. You can put a gi on it and practice the chokes and work on the fulcrum and why it tightens, how it tightens, when it tightens.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I like what you also said about the idea of the value of watching things. Like, obviously, if you're only watching jiu-jitsu, that can be kind of tough. You have to be able to put it in practice at some point, but there is tremendous value in watching something and training your brain to recognize patterns and movements. Yeah.
The thing about being a coach and stuff is you got to figure out how the person learns, and not everybody learns the same. And like one, depending on the brilliance of the human or how much they're in tune with their physical self as much as they are with their mental self, is like, some guys you can tell them about it, just tell them, oh, this is what you do. And they understand. They can make the picture in their head, and they already understand the movement, and then they'll go do it. Some guys you got to fucking tell them about it and show it to them. And then there's the other guy that's like me. You got to tell me about it, show it to me, and do it to me. Yeah. And then I understand it, because I understand how you're applying it, what it is. And then finally I understand it.
Yeah. And sometimes you got to break, for some people, you have to break out the crayons.
Well, sometimes you have to hit them.
They learn discipline the hard way. Some people like that, though.
Discipline.
Some people are specifically paying for that. Did you ever see, we talked about the Rollbot before on here, didn't we? That training dummy that's like programmable. It's called the Rollbot. Have you seen that thing?
Does it really exist? Because I know that Japan is exclusively just working on making hot chicks that fuck.
It's like that, but it won't bang you. Yeah.
I bet you there's one that'll do both.
There's a way to hack it a little bit.
The Japanese are kind of weird. I fucking love them. Don't get me wrong, but fucking robots.
Yeah.
It's kind of where, like, why? I mean,
I feel like we're just a short step away. If you have a sex bot, it's a short step away to program it to do jiu-jitsu. I feel like that's obtainable, especially now with AI and everything,
Of course. No, there's going to be all kinds of craziness. I can't even like 10 years from now, it's going to be like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah. No, but there is this product. I think it's from California. It's called the Rollbot, and it's a very lifelike, it looks like a robot. It doesn't look like human, but it's very humanoid in its shape. And then there's sensors where if you choke it properly, its eyes like light up red to let you know that you have proper pressure on the carotid arteries or whatever. I don't know how effective it is. I've never trained with it, but I've seen people rolling with it.
What if the robot goes insane?
Well, I don't think it actually has the ability to like operate and move. It's a dummy. It just has sensors, and it's
okay. I thought it was going to fight against me.
No, that would be like, could you imagine the insurance you'd have to have for a company like that? I
was just imagining this. It's like, oh, I bought this great robot, and then there's somebody behind it, like fucking looking out of its eyes, and it's like, kill. And then the fucking robot fucking rolls you up and fucking strangles you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like one of those things where like it kills you because you didn't say please to ChatGPT after asking it questions. You didn't say thank you. So that you're just marked now as like disposable.
You are germ. You must be vanquished.
Or you wake up and find the robot like choking out your dog. It's just like, geez, this thing's out of control.
There's going to be all kinds of crazy shit this AI is not a good idea, and it was portrayed in movies that wasn't a good idea, but we're still gonna fuck with it.
It's almost as if no one has watched Terminator. No one is thinking of Skynet. We've talked about this before, but I'm with you. I think that there should be some limits. There should be some barriers that we have, between how far.
What I'm noticing is like my friends are like, "Fuck, bro, have you done any AI stuff for your fucking move of the week?" I'm like, "No, I don't need anything artificial,"
Yeah.
And then these guys are all doing their like reports at work with AI.
Yeah.
They're like, "Fuck that, I put it in, and I let AI do it, and I turn it in." And I'm like, and that's what all the kids in school are doing.
Yeah.
So they are artificially intelligent, so that means that their intelligence is fake.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I would rather have my depleted intelligence than fake intelligence.
Yeah. No, 100%. Have you seen these cases of people losing their minds talking to ChatGPT? Basically, this woman was having these like delusional kind of thoughts, and ChatGPT made them more and more grandiose, and like had her believing that she was like some kind of spiritual reincarnation of something. I can't remember the details exactly, but basically she had delusional thoughts, and this thing made it like way worse. It was like, cause it kind of just agrees with you.
It helped you along.
Yeah. Cause ChatGPT, it kind of just agrees with you at a certain point. It kind of reinforces whatever beliefs you have or things you have. It sort of just goes along with you. So if you're nuts and you think that you're like, yeah, but anyway, there are definitely training dummy options. Hopefully none that will be attacking us back without like really solid parameters for control in the future. But man, Yannick, we've kind of floated far away from your question, my friend. Yeah, there's so Kurt, so for solo home training, drilling with a dummy, watching lots of content and practicing movement drills. Those are the things that you think are probably going to be most efficient.
Yes.
Excellent. And also, man, for Yannick, I don't know if you know this or not, there's a free solo drilling instructional that we have at bjjfanatics.com with John Danaher. So make sure you grab that. I believe that's still free to download. He did have a second question, Kurt. He says, how would you define old school in comparison to what is mainstream in jiu-jitsu these days? Do you think it's advice for older dudes like me to focus on very basics that would be categorized as old school, or should I be focusing on more modern stuff?
I think that if you have a solid basic game, it'll stand up to anything. So, I mean, I kind of have a big stickler of like basics because that's what gets you through, and that's what always works. And there's a reason for that. And then when you have your basics all solid and you have a really solid game, then you can start like branching out and figuring out what will work for you. Like a lot of crazy fancy moves don't work for me because I'm not super flexible or young. And so and then I see people with really basic games. A good example would be Roger Gracie and or Half or Henzo or Hyan. All their games are very, very basic and just fuck you up because that's what it was built for. Now, when you're doing like some crazy movements and stuff like that, they may work well for jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff like that, but will it work if you suddenly have the inclination to do that in a fight on the street? It's going to change from being advantageous to being really detrimental.
Yannick, either way, man, I hope you're able to increase your training more eventually, especially as your kids grow and get older. The schedules usually improve as they get a little older. I know how it is. Yeah, there's plenty of things you can do at home, solo drilling to get better. So keep at it, man. I appreciate you tuning in, and thank you for your question. Kurt, next one is from Fernando from Boston, Kurt. He's from Boston, Kurt.
That's wicked.
This guy Fernando's got a wicked armbar, kid.
From the God.
Plays a lot of God. Kurt and I, anytime Boston comes up, Kurt and I have this mental affliction where we have to like switch into our Boston accents.
Separation of church and state.
Separation of church and state, kid. You got to do it, dude. You can't have them all mixed up, kid. It doesn't work. Guy over there, he's a good shit. That's my favorite Boston. That's my favorite Boston phrase when they say he's a good dude. Guys, he's a good shit. He's a good shit. Okay, sorry. Fernando from Boston. Fernando says, what's up, Kurt? Longtime fan. I've been training for a few years now, getting close to my purple belt. I'm curious how you deal with gym drama. I feel like there are a few people at my academy who just don't like me, and it makes my training uncomfortable sometimes. I don't think it's serious enough to change gyms or anything. And I'm sure that any gym I go to, there's always going to be someone that doesn't like me. But what advice would you offer to someone who has to train with someone who seems to have it out for them?
Fuck them, tap them. They'll change their attitude as soon as you fucking don't put up with it and show that you don't have any problems with your ego. They will have problems with theirs when they, you know what I'm saying? That's what I say. And I don't give a fuck about gym drama because I don't, it's not ever about me, and it's never going to be anything that I really give a fuck about. Right? How's that? It's like, well, I don't like him. Well, then go over there and fucking tap him if you don't like him. You know, because if I find out that you guys don't like each other, I'll put you together every fucking night on purpose until you guys either respect each other or fucking kill each other.
It's basically Hunger Games. Kurt's 7 p.m. class is basically Hunger Games.
Either way, I'll be entertained. You know what I'm saying? Either way, that's it. I feel that's what a good coach is like. Oh, you guys got a problem? Well, guess what? You guys can fucking hold hands and walk across the street now.
No, I think there's a lot to what you said there. I think, yeah, being able to earn a little bit of respect and just showing, I mean, obviously don't, in a controlled way, impose your game and get some respect. That helps a little bit. And then, obviously if, choosing your people wisely, obviously if you have someone that really has it out for you and seems like they want to hurt you, well then, yeah, maybe don't roll with those people. But, if it's not that kind of situation, get respect. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're really trying to fuck you up, like maliciously, then I would have to lie in wait in the shadows and kill them later.
I like that's how Kurt cancels contracts at his academy. It's not dagger in the neck from a dark corner as you're leaving the academy.
You're never ever gonna see it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but I had a bunch of fucking really good training partners, and we'd be like, I'm sure we were at odds when we were training and everything, but after that, everything was fucking scrubbed. Everybody's like, fuck you, I fucked you up today. And I'm like, next week is my turn, motherfucker, but like truly like dislike somebody. Fuck, that was, I don't recall disliking anybody that much.
Yeah. I've had a couple people along the way that just, we didn't seem to click or whatever. There's been a few people along the way that I could tell didn't like me, but I think that what you described, we'd roll together a lot. We'd train together a lot, and they'd be good, tough rolls. And then afterwards, I think there's actually several people that I would consider friends of mine today through jiu-jitsu that initially, like, you could tell we were both kind of like, yeah, we don't like each other very much. He's not my cup of tea, whatever. And that can change. I mean, I think that through jiu-jitsu, you get to know people on a deeper level and relate to people. We're on this common goal of pursuing a black belt and getting good at jiu-jitsu. And
well, I think that definitely it definitely tempers you so that you can tolerate a lot more from people, right?
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden, like me, I'm walking around and people act out in public and stuff, and I'm just like, I'll fucking say something. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna film you kicking somebody else's ass. I'm gonna fucking break it up, or I'm gonna fuck you up. Right? So and then you start to go, okay, that's right. I just can't walk around killing people because that's wrong. Or whatever, or imposing.
Society frowns on it just a little bit, Kurt.
Yeah, yes. They don't like that. They don't like it also that you're policing your own people, right? It's like, and I know they're wrong, but it has to be, you learn how to compose yourself. How's that?
Yeah. Well, I think Fernando said it well too. He said that, he feels like it's not a serious enough thing where he needs to move schools. And he also understands that you could go to a new school and there's, other people that just don't click with you either. So there's always going to be someone that doesn't like you. Like that's you can't possibly be everybody's type of person. So that's good that Fernando recognizes that, hey, just because there's a couple people here I don't get along with isn't reason for me to leave my school and go somewhere new. Cause the same thing could happen just as easily. Yeah. So
just fucking deal with them how they wish to be dealt.
Yeah. Yeah. Good advice. Fernando, keep training with these guys, even the ones that you don't like. And in my experience, there's been plenty of people I've become friends with in jiu-jitsu that initially we didn't really get along that well, or there was just some kind of weird, we didn't click well at first, but over the years, training together and helping each other get better, you can't help but kind of become closer friends over time. And if not, whatever, who cares? You can't please everybody. So keep at it, man. Next one is from Austin from Tennessee. He says, what's up, Ryan and Kurt? Longtime listener of the show. I'm sure you guys have seen the story about the rich guy in Las Vegas that got his black belt in 3 years recently. I'm curious, Kurt, what your take is on people selling belts. And in your experience, is this really that big of a problem in jiu-jitsu? I feel like the story is so big because maybe it's not very common and that's what makes it newsworthy, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a problem with people who have lots of money speeding up their progress in rank with financial leverage. What are your thoughts on that? And what does it do, in your opinion, for the legitimacy of the art, and also for the black belts participating in this process? Ryan, love the podcast. And Kurt, I love your interviews and moves of the week. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate that, Austin. Kurt, what are your thoughts on that, man? People buying rank.
The only person that I know that went through his belts that fast was BJ. And the only one that I've seen since BJ that was able to do it at an accelerated pace would be about 7 years. I did 10 every day, all day, and chores at house.
You're doing, Half had you doing dishes. You were like his,
I had to mow the lawn. I had to wash cars. I had to do a lot of things. My apprenticeship was all encompassing, indentured servitude.
Half knew how to negotiate your membership there. That was well done.
He leveraged it. So needless to say, I mean, if the guy is fucking really that good, more power to him. If he's that good and got his belt in 3 years, fuck. I appreciate how I got my belt because I know that I am a black belt and I'm a good black belt and I suffered a lot and I learned correctly and carry on that kind of like hard style tradition to this day, even though I had to cut back on my swearing.
Which you've not done a very good job of, but we'll pretend you're making progress.
You have to warn me. You have to forewarn me. Like Stephanie, the owner of Loma Marinda, she'll go, look, there's some people coming in to try out the class. So could you not swear tonight? And I'm like, hey. And this is before the class. And I'm like, okay. And I'll go. And so if you warn me like that, then I'm fucking charming as fuck, and I don't, and I don't swear or anything, and she's like, I can't believe it. You didn't even fucking say shit or anything. And I'm like, I told you, you guys just got to warn me that I've got to be good for the company, and then I won't be bad.
I like that the owner has to have a conversation that's basically, Kurt, can you just pretend to be civilized for like an hour?
For 1 hour only though, right? Just an hour.
That 47 mark, you start kind of like ticking and like having little like twitches.
I start going, Tourette, he had my asshole.
Oh man. So yeah, there's been obviously like a handful of people throughout history that have gotten their belts real quickly. BJ Penn was one of them. I think Vitor Shaolin and Caio Terra, I think if I remember correctly, moved pretty quickly. I mean, look, at the end of the day, look, if you have a guy that starts training and he's just destroying everybody in the room, and then you're taking him to competitions and he's, cleaning house in his bracket, and it just doesn't make sense for him to be a white belt anymore, and you push him to blue belt. You all right, buddy?
Yeah.
And you push him to That's that Tourette's kicking in again. We're about the 40. We're about the 42 mark into the show right now. So that's about when you're. No. So yeah, I mean, if you have a guy that starts and he's just a phenom and he's cleaning house at tournaments and you bump him to blue belt after like 6 months of training or less, and then he's cleaning house at blue belt for a while and then he's cleaning house at purple. I mean, yeah, what are you supposed to do? Like keep the dude as a blue belt even though he's.
They do it. I mean, there's a lot of sandbaggers too. They're blue belt for right or blue belt or purple belt forever.
I've seen plenty of those for sure. And I guess there is a valid argument that time is something that's important because, man, at the end of the day, you can't learn the entire system of jiu-jitsu in like 4 or 5 years. I mean, you can get a lot of exposure to a lot of it, but I could see the argument of people saying it really is like 10 years of training frequently to really get exposed to all the facets of jiu-jitsu, not just the moves, not just the techniques, but the timing and understanding how to set traps and how to build strategies and things like that. That does take a lot of time. So I think there's a pretty valid argument about time.
The people that excel that fast are just like they're physically talented and they understand how to impose their game, which has a lot to do with it, right? They're pulling you to their position to where they know you have no hope.
Yeah. Yeah, true. But then like, if you look at let's say someone has gotten, their black belt in say like 3 years or something like that. You have to then ask yourself, okay, well, how deep is your game really? Like what, like when you're applying your game, let's say that you are a phenom that's like, cleaning house at tournaments and you're doing really well and all that. But if we ask you to go real deep into what techniques you can demonstrate or show, I mean, are you only using a very specific game that your athleticism is allowing you to execute well? But then outside of that, you're kind of limited in your knowledge.
In the other, how many realms there are. If you get put in this realm by somebody, what happens to your game?
Right. And so a black belt's supposed to be a symbol of, not that you can beat anybody. I mean, obviously it's definitely not that. It's more just that you have a working proficiency and a really highly working knowledge of the art, and you're able to express it and pass the knowledge down to other people. That's really what the black belt is in general. So now with all that said, Kurt, the question that Austin was really asking is, do you feel that there is an issue of people? Have you seen people with high incomes using their money to advance faster? Do you think that is an existing issue?
I don't see that as an issue yet, but historically, the wealthy and or the rulers or the hierarchy of any society were way better trained and better than the most seasoned veteran of wars, especially in when it was swords and arrows and spears and stuff like that. The nobles in whatever period always had the best swordsmen and therefore had the best training and therefore would be better than anybody who was like had been through like a bunch of wars and killed many men and everything, and they'd cut them down with technique, because they were just afforded a better source of information and teaching. So definitely, it can definitely accelerate your learning curve for sure, and that's what privates are really good for. Is that it's like, I can fix this, I can clean that, and I can make this more lethal. But then again, the person has to be able to apply that, in a proficiency that I see it correct, right? So, I mean, if you want to have a fake belt, here, cut me a check. I'll give you a fake belt. But you want to be really fucking good, and I want to stand behind it, like just like if I was building whatever birdhouses, right? This is my product, and it's fucking really good. It's a fucking solid structure. It's fucking gonna house fucking 4 birds at one time, whatever. But that's the way I look at like creating people. Like I want to be able to stand behind him and go, fuck, this guy's fucking solid. He's my guy, and I fucking built him. What he does with it after that, that's on him.
We're all very passionate about jiu-jitsu, and we want, I think most people in the community want to protect it from being watered down. We've seen, over history, we've seen a lot of martial arts get really watered down from what they originally were. And so I think a lot of people have a knee-jerk reaction if they see something where they feel, hey, this person didn't really spend sufficient amount of time doing this, or they feel that, maybe someone paid for the belt, that it devalues the black belt in general. I think that in general, it probably is a more rare thing. I don't think there's an issue, a problem of like, super wealthy people buying rank necessarily. I think that the reason some of these stories have become so sensationalized is because they are rare. It's not super common.
I don't see anything rampant yet.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm not alarmed.
Yeah. Good. Well, Austin, I appreciate the question, man. Next one comes in from Jamie from Indiana. He says, what's up, Kurt? I've been training for about a year and I'm really hooked onto jiu-jitsu. My only issue is that I train in a really, really small gym. It's literally like 5 other people with me sometimes. That's kind of how big the class can usually get. I'm definitely the most athletic and knowledgeable student in the group. And while I like everybody and my coach, I don't feel like I'm being tested in my training very much unless I'm rolling with my instructor. If I could, I would just switch to a bigger school. The problem is that there aren't any big schools in my area. The drive to get to the next biggest one, just wouldn't make sense. Not sure what to do because I would really like to compete and become a legitimate black belt someday. Any advice would be appreciated.
Well, everything's going to end up growing. So enjoy it now that you have like a semi-private kind of setting and your instructor trains with you. And if he's any good, you'll be good. And when you have time off or whatever, and you want to fly somewhere and go get the visitor's welcome at somebody else's academy, I would say take a drive or a flight and then go see what's out there. I never held any of my guys. They were like, we're going to go train over here. I'm like, go ahead. Don't show them anything. Just kick their ass. That's what I told my guys. I let the leash go. You know what I'm saying? I don't go, no, you can't go train anywhere. But yeah, if you have free time or the means, and you want to take a drive and go get the visitor's welcome, you help yourself.
This has come up before, and something I've said in the past is that I feel like if you live in a place where you're trying to do something that's not in your area, sometimes you got to consider moving. I mean, sometimes you move if it means that much to you. You physically move closer to where you want to be. If you wanted to be a doctor and there's no med school in your state, a good med school in your state or in your area, that means you got to move somewhere, man. You got to move to another town.
Always come back.
Yeah.
A lot of people did that. A lot of my instructors and friends, they left their homeland to come here because this is where they could build a life for their family, right? And then a lot of us in the beginning days before the big influx of instructors over here from Brazil, we went to Brazil to see where it had like done so much to the culture and the whole thing. And so I went over there and spent time where it came from. And then I immersed myself while I was here at home. And then I was lucky enough that, it was close by, and then sometimes it wasn't. But I would, drive an hour and a half and go train, and then drive an hour and a half, come home.
Yeah. And you see that a lot in jiu-jitsu, man. There's a lot of people that make the decision, like, for example, Austin, Texas, with Gordon opening up his school, with New Wave being there, with B Team, there's people that have come from all over the world to move to Austin specifically because they want to be able to train with these guys. And even like in smaller towns, like if you look at the Daisy Fresh team, man, there's like a ton of guys on Daisy Fresh that literally like packed a hitchhiked their way to the middle of Illinois and wanted to sign up and train at Daisy Fresh. So if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way to make it work. I really do. I firmly believe that, Jamie. And if you're in a small place where you feel like you have a great instructor and you feel like you're getting a lot out of training one-on-one with them, dude, keep doing that. But if you feel like you get to the point where it's like, man, I really want to compete seriously, well then, yeah, man, maybe it's time to map out finding a job somewhere that covers your bills, try to find a roommate, settle into a new town, and, go from there. So what's the furthest you've had someone travel to train at Half's, Kurt? Have you guys have people that like moved to train over there with you guys?
Absolutely. Some of them would move down. Some people would just do it on Saturdays and make it a whole day, or they would drive down midweek even, and go, oh, this is my day off. I'm going to do all 4 classes today. Right. And they would just fucking immerse themselves and then go back and then train up there. Or they would usually come down because they had an academy, and they'd come down and get information and go back up and then, and then pass it along to their students.
Yeah. So Jamie, obviously, stay where you're at if you have a great instructor for now, but if things change later, you can always relocate if you need to. So just keep at it, keep training. Next one comes from Amir in Belgium. He says, hi, Kurt, I'm a brown belt and I've recently made the decision that I don't want to train in the gi anymore. I'm tired of having fucked up fingers, and I feel like I can just keep myself safer in general without a gi on. I'm also really interested in heel hooks, which has become a big part of how I roll. My question is, do you feel like I'm missing out on anything by only doing no gi? I'm pretty confident in my fundamentals, and like I said, I'm a brown belt now. What do you think?
I think I'll train either way, but the thing is, I don't know if the gi is worse or the no gi is worse. I've fucking been hurt in both of them, and heel hooks will fucking end your career. And so, like, my knees are fucked. In fact, right now I'm like going to the doctor, and they're gonna want to fucking put a cortisone shot, and they say I'm a very high percentage candidate for a knee replacement, which I don't want to do. But yeah, because there's heel hooks and all kinds of crazy leg weave stuff, I'm always really on point if I do no gi, because that's like what's popular now, and that's what's more broken on me. So I have a particular game to do. But yeah, I think that your movement is more accurate when you train in your gi and you get out of your gi. And then if you start to figure out that your game needs no translation, that maybe some of your finalizations change, but everything else is pretty much basic. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they're like, I'm like ready to do whatever. You want to do no gi? You want to do no gi with punching and kicking? Or if you want to do gi, I don't have any translation because my fundamentals are going to be the same at each one. And then some of the strategy and some of the finalizations will change. And that's all.
That's great. That's actually, I can definitely understand where he's coming from about the hands thing. Cause like, for example, as you know, I'm currently sidelined right now with a neck injury. So I'm hoping to be back by the end of the year. But I do note it sucks being out of jiu-jitsu, but I do notice my hands like suddenly start working better again. Like if I'm playing guitar, my fingers can actually spread apart a little bit better if I take some time to let the inflammation come down. So I totally get his complaint there about hand pain and things like that. But yeah, good question, Kurt. I appreciate you taking that one. And what was his name? Amir. I appreciate you sending in the question, my friend. Thank you. Next one is from John from Melbourne, Australia. He says, Kurt, you fucking legend. He says, when are you coming back to Australia? Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet you when you were here last, but I'm curious what your favorite thing about Australia was. Australians have the best energy, man. I love Australians.
Dude, I thought Australia kicked ass. I thought that everybody was super, super cool. And I was a wreck then. The last time I was in Australia, I was a fucking drunken, fucking hedonistic, fucking crazy fuck. More than usual. How's that? And so I had some I did some bad things, and then it was like it should have been one of the greatest trips in my life, and it was for a lot of reasons because I met fucking Shane, and I met a lot of really cool people all throughout, and that was what was really cool. I was a wreck, but it ended up going well, and everything. I would love to come back. I have my passport, so you guys line up the fucking tour, and I'll do it.
Awesome. Excellent. Yeah. Australia is somewhere I've never been. I've always wanted to go though, but Australian people,
everything can kill you.
Everything can kill you. Everything. Yeah. Yeah. It's like Florida on steroids. Yeah. I've always wanted to go, man. And like, I had to laugh, even just his introduction, the first sentence. I'm like, dude, these is such a fun people, man. They're fun people for sure. John, I appreciate you tuning in, and yeah, hopefully Kurt will be back out in Australia, sooner than later. Next one's from Melissa from Spokane, Washington. She says, hi, Kurt. I'm curious what your thoughts are on referee bias in competitions. I've seen it myself, and every time I go to compete, there's that little voice in the back of my head that makes me concerned that I might get screwed over by a referee. Do you think this has gotten better over time? Also, besides submitting the other person, what are some things I can do to protect myself from a biased referee?
Well, welcome to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Because it is its own entity, you will get, and fuck, it's fucked up. I've been robbed a bunch of times. All right. So a lot of times I shouldn't have been eliminated, but I was. And so, yes, my teacher's answers would then go out there and fucking break that motherfucker off. And then I would do that, and sometimes I wouldn't make any points, but the guy couldn't continue in his match after facing me. But I still lost. But so then I started to develop kind of a half and half idea. Is like, okay, I'm going to work on these certain aspects of my game. In fact, all of them, but I'm going to get the 2 points. I'm going to get a pass, and then I'm points up on the guy, and then I'm going to submit him. Right. So I would, after I made some points, then it would be like totally concentrating on just finishing the person because I had a buffer zone. And that strategy seemed to work out better, because of that possibility. And it might not even be biased. The guy just might be not qualified. Right. So yeah, right. I've seen both.
Yeah, I know. I've seen both too. I've seen some where it was very clearly like, dude, what was that? And then there's other times where people are screaming, oh, it's biased. No, it's because of this or that. And that's just kind of like, I just think the guy's incompetent as a ref. I don't think he understands what he's doing like the way he should, but I think it exists for sure. Yeah. Kurt, have you ever like shown your Portuguese or anything as you enter the mats to try to influence anybody?
It doesn't work.
Just walk, Melissa, as you
go work.
As you go out to the mat, Melissa, just say, "E aí, mano, beleza, cara." At the very least, they'll be confused,
What I'll do is I'll use my Portuguese afterwards.
Yeah. There you go.
And then I'm not saying anything really nice.
You vent your frustrations in Portuguese.
Oh, it's a Tourette vent.
Melissa, I appreciate the question. Thank you. Sean from Newcastle, England. He says, hi, Kurt. You've given some good music suggestions on the podcast in the past, and I've discovered a couple new bands that I like because of your conversations with Ryan. I'm curious, who are some of your current favorite bands at the moment? Hope you'll come back to UK soon.
Bro, I've been listening to my old stuff because there's nothing good new.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen anything fucking new that fucking stokes me. So the other day I put on some fucking old fucking Power Man 5000 on.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Dude. I mean, and then like old White Zombie, like the first album. And like, what else? And then the other day I was listening to some Guar.
Oh, remember dude, Guar? Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I love Guar. Yeah.
And like their earlier albums were way better. Like Have You Seen Me? And then fucking Black and Huge and fucking Oh, fuck, those guys were crazy, bro.
They were good. Did you ever see when he was on Jerry Springer, like a long time ago?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
dude, it's one of the funniest appearances ever. It was so funny. He was like, this back before Jerry was doing like the people were like, I slept with my mailman, and then the mailman fights the husband on the TV show. It was before all that kind of stuff. They were doing like actual like panels of like concerned parents.
Half was on there.
Half was on Jerry Springer?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What was the context?
It was pre-extreme fighting.
Okay.
And the topic was, is this human cockfighting?
Oh, I had no idea. He was on Jerry Springer. Wow. I'm gonna have to go look that up. I'm gonna have to go look that up now.
You're gonna have to look it up, because this is when Half was like, what, 26? 26? I want to say 26, 27 tops, because he got here 24. He was 24. Yeah. So then he did extreme fighting, and they put him on Jerry Springer. And he goes on there in his gi and everything, and he's got that fucking crazy fucking psychopath look in his eyes, like he did him when he was young, Now he's fucking nice now. He's fucking, after everything. He's like, no, Kurt, we can't be like that anymore. I'm all, fuck that. He's like, we have to change. And I'm all, what the fuck is wrong with you?
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely have to go YouTube that now. But no, I remember from Guar, Odorous Arungus. He was on. He made an appearance on Jerry Springer. It was hilarious. He was like arguing with one of the kids' moms that liked it. Like basically they take bands that that were scaring parents, and they'd bring the kid out who has like the band's shirt on, and he's got like his hair painted or whatever, and then they'd bring the rock star out. And it was hysterical. But yeah, Guar was great. And then you said Power Man 5000 and Rob. Rob Zombie. That's Rob Zombie's brother, right?
I know.
Yeah.
I think you can see the kind of like the same kind of recipe for the music. It's got the same kind of cool shit. And then I listened to Slayer's Show No Mercy the other day. And I was like, fuck, these guys were so fucking hard. And I saw that tour. It was like my first time ever seeing them. I've seen them fucking 20 times probably. But that was the first time. And I had gone to see another band called Law's Rocket, which were a little bit heavy, but they were still doing their hair. You know what I'm saying? They were like a little bit LA, but too heavy for LA. So they came up here. And so Slayer was their opener. And they came out, and we were like, holy fuck. And then the headline band came on, I was like, fuck these guys. And then it was like, fuck, but so I've been listening to just some old metal, some really good, heavy fucking shit that people are still scared of.
You know who's like that for me when it comes to like opening shows was Lamb of God. So I had one of my best friends. He was like a huge fan of Lamb of God, and I always thought they were okay. I thought they were pretty good. And then I saw them live. They opened for Metallica, like during the Death Magnetic tour. That would have been like 2012 or no 2010 maybe. And I saw Lamb of God live. They opened, and I was just like, "Holy shit! How have I not been listening to more of these guys?"
No, they're live. They're fucking something else. I mean, I've seen them a handful of times at least, and every time I see them, and they would either be the headliner or they were opening for Slayer. The small shows where they were the headline were like, I saw them at the Warfield in SF, which is a fucking cool place to go. It's really, everything is a good view, and then if you sit by the mixing board, the sound is just fucking killer. And but yeah, I always listen to Lamb of God. Omerta.
That's awesome. Omerta. That's one of my favorite songs for sure. Dude, you mentioned that there's some bands that are like, if they were too heavy for LA, they would come up to San Francisco. That's usually how it was, huh? Like the Bay Area was all like thrash and like much heavier
LA
shit.
was the glam area.
Yeah, it was like the hair kind of, yeah.
The androgynous look.
Yes.
Right. I don't know if there's a girl, a boy, or a it.
I remember you talking about seeing Metallica back before they really blew up. I could only imagine like, being in a room,
We used to
being
go
like a
see him. We
small
used to go
club.
see him and then go party at their house.
That's incredible, dude. Holy shit. Amazing. Dude, do you like Deftones?
They're cool. And
Yeah.
they just toured through here and everybody's like, fuck, they were really good.
Yeah.
And I'm all, you know what? Everything gets, they usually get better because they've done it so much and for so long. And now everybody had to clean up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, dude, Deftones is one of my favorite bands. They actually have a new album dropping this month.
Nice.
The last one that dropped was real good. It was really good. It was called Ohms. And then like every track I thought was really good. They right now on Apple Music, they only have one track of the new album that's dropping this month, like as a preview. It's pretty good. I like it. I liked it. So I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the album, but I didn't know if you were into Deftones or not.
No, I like them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, man, Sean from England, appreciate the question. And, yeah, hopefully Kurt will be back to UK to do another British tour. That'd be fun. Kurt, speaking of music, dude, we just lost the founder of it all, man, Ozzy. I can't believe, first of all, I can't believe Ozzy lived as long as he did, if I'm being honest. He had a crazy lifestyle.
Look, I've got hope.
You've got hope for yourself. You've outlasted Ozzy Osbourne, bro. You're doing really good.
No,
you're doing really good.
He made it. What? He was 75, bro. I got 15 years to go. Fuck. If I can beat him, I've done something.
When Lemmy from Motorhead died, I called a couple of my friends. I was like, dude, I can't believe. So obviously, so sad Lemmy died because I was a big fan too. But dude, I can't believe Ozzy outlasted. Ozzy outlasted a lot of people, and like you hear all the crazy, insane stories about the stuff he did and the lifestyle he lived. And man, just to push. And it's also kind of poetic that it was only a couple of weeks before his passing away that he did his final show. So it's kind of like, right. It's almost like his body, he'd done what he needed to do on this earth. And he was just, his body said it was time to go.
It was the last, right. He did his last show and that was it. I guess that fulfilled his fate, right. He was really a really good singer in the beginning. If you listen to really early Black Sabbath, he had a really good bluesy voice. You don't see that later because his voice got thrashed and everything. But I mean, if you listen to early Sabbath, it was still intact and stuff like that. And then he didn't really start using effects and stuff like, I want to say, Blizzard of Oz. I mean, for real, when he left the band in 79 or.
Yeah. Right? When Ronnie James Dio came in. Yeah. That was probably 79, 80. Yeah. Right around there. Cause he went solo. Right. I remember he went solo. Like some of those albums are from like 84. So it must've been right around there.
No, he started touring with Randy Rhoads, I believe 83, 84, and he had some other guitarists that played with him while he was Ozzy Osbourne. He had Brad Gillis. He had who else did he have? He had
well, when Randy died, didn't Zach Wilde stepped in early? When was that? Late 80s? Zach Wilde stepped in.
Yeah, very late. Like Zach Wilde was like the one thing you got to say about Sharon is like she fucking finds out who's the fucking hot fucking mercenary, and then he goes and sees him, and the same thing happened when he was checked out Randy Rhoads. He was like, holy shit, right? And then Zach Wilde is another holy shit monster picker. He's fucking incredible.
No, Zach Wilde's great, man. Yeah, I've always been like a fan of Black Label Society too, which is Zach's thing. But yeah, dude, Ozzy, man, he was, when I was a 12-year-old, kind of a misguided 12-year-old, I discovered Sabbath, and I was just like, oh my God, this is fucking great. And it really is. It really did set it was the first of any, it's what started metal. It really is. And you mentioned his bluesy twang to his voice. They were initially more on in like a blues band. It was not metal before until Tony Iommi had that accident with his hand. That changed the whole sound.
That chainsaw can change your life.
A chainsaw, yeah, a metal press or whatever that was that took the tip of his finger. Yeah, for the listeners, if you guys are into metal or if you're interested at all, you should check out Black Sabbath's documentaries because the story's unbelievable. It's a really, really cool story. But man, rest in peace to the legend, man. That was a gut check. And then, dude, 2 days later, Hulk Hogan dies, which is my first sports icon I ever had in my life.
Hey, it happens in threes, and so like I was waiting for the next. Who is the next big celebrity to go in this batch?
Chuck Mangione, he passed away right after Hogan. So you're right. It was in three.
Okay. Yeah. I guess he gets lumped in there.
But dude, Hogan, that's another one. Hogan's another one that lived longer than a lot of a lot of those wrestlers die at 50 because of the roids and the drugs they use.
Right. Well, just imagine his life. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a lot of crystal meth, bro.
This Sunday night, brother. Did you ever see Ozzy live?
Oh, many times. As Black Sabbath, not so much. As Ozzy, very many times. And then when Black Sabbath came back around with Ronnie James Dio, saw him multiple times. And then I don't know if you remember, after Ronnie James Dio, they got Ian Gillan.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And that was a fucking shredding album. I don't know. A lot of people don't mention it a lot, but Born Again was fucking really fucking good. I mean, Ian Gillan is fucking a monster vocalist.
When they announced his last show ever in Birmingham, I was kind of like, dude, you know what? Like, I wonder how much a ticket would be in like an Airbnb. I looked at the pricing. I looked at the price. I was like, yeah, I guess I'm watching the stream then. So
yeah, that wasn't even a choice. I got to see him a lot. I got to see him with Randy Rhoads. I got to see Blizzard of Oz. I got to see Diary of a Madman. Nice. And then by Bark of the Moon, I think. Isn't that when Randy got killed or like? Yeah.
Randy died. Man, when was that? That was 87. It was 87 that Randy died.
All right.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I'm asking you, dude. I have no idea. I don't remember. I wasn't alive then. I was a little baby at that point, but I used to love, I had all of Ozzy's albums. I had Black Sabbath, all the albums.
I remember at one Ozzy concert at the Cow Palace, which a lot of Bay Area people will know that was the place that you went and saw big shows. It was the Cow Palace. But I remember that show because I got hit in the head with a beer bottle.
Nice.
And then I chased the person to the porta potty and he ran in there and we flipped it over.
That's awesome. They call that a shit milkshake.
That's what you get. He didn't move around that well, like Blizzard of Oz, he was still being himself and stuff like that. But like as it progressed, and it got deeper into the albums, he would like walk around like he did Sharon, and then he would like do a frog leap and then walk around again. So he didn't like.
That wasn't much, yeah.
It was. You could tell the declining of a lead singer is when he's not doing his thing anymore.
Yeah. Well, I remember when the Osbourne's show came was real big on MTV, and that's the first time I'd seen him like like walking around and talking and stuff for a long time. Because this is all like before like YouTube and stuff really took off. So when I saw him, I was like, oh shit, I was like, man, what the fuck's that? So I was just assuming, man, the drugs have caught up to him, but it was Parkinson's, which who knows what the connection there could have been, but.
Well, I'm sure one doesn't make the other one better.
No, I'm sure not. I'm sure. Yeah. I don't think so. Dude, have you ever heard I think the craziest story I ever heard of Ozzy was told by Tommy Lee during an interview he did at one point where he was saying that they were partying after a show or whatever, and they were just getting crazier and crazier throughout the night and trying to outdo each other with crazy acts. And at one point there was a line of ants in the hotel room on a popsicle stick, and he snorted the whole line of ants. And that's when everyone like gave up and said, okay, you win, just stop. It's like, they'd like flush his nose at the hospital, and like a bunch of fucking ants came flushing out of his nostrils.
Dude, that's totally true, because I used to do that with other lead singers. It's like you get fucked up. It's like, okay, how fucked up can you get? And what crazy shit can you do? Can you jump off of that? Can you fucking down this whole fucking this fifth right now? And it's like, fuck yeah, I can.
Will this fit in there?
No. That's for the guys from fucking, what's that? The guys that stick things in their ass and fucking, that's God damn it. That's Jackass. Those guys do that shit.
The Jackass guys, yeah. Dude, I found some of your music online. I sent you a link. Someone posted. I already sent it to you. Remember, you were telling me about your band and stuff. You got to post that, man. You got to find your music you recorded back in the day, because it was really good.
Huh? I'll have to check it out. I haven't heard it.
I sent you the link.
I'm very bad at technology.
Oh, so you didn't even click the link, Kurt. I'm heartbroken. I am offended.
I'm gonna check the back messages you sent me and check it out.
I'll resend you the link. I'll send you a new one.
All right.
Yeah, but anyway, man, rest in peace to Ozzy. That was a tough one for me personally. That was hard. Kurt, we got another question coming in from one of our longtime listeners, Kyle Suda from out in California. He says, would you rather have to roll with someone who's got nasty BO or dirty hippie oil on?
Nasty BO.
Yeah, anything hippie, guys, if you're out there listening, anything hippie, it's going to be the other choice for sure.
Look, if you're doused in fucking patchouli at jiu-jitsu, I'm going to fucking go ape shit. I'll have a fucking manic episode. I fucking hate patchouli. If I fucking smell it like walking in, I alert like a dog, which is really fucked up, because my ears don't stick up, but I immediately get a fucking, I look around and I go, where's the filthy hippie? I'd rather train with a stinky human than a fucking hippie human.
Do you not like patchouli, Kurt? You don't like that?
No.
Okay. Not a fan. Okay. Kyle also asks, if you could have dinner with any 3 guests, who would you pick and what would you cook?
Oh, whoa.
It's a good question.
That is a good question. Well, I'll have to go with my strong suit. I'd barbecue for him. I would barbecue. And I would like to have Travis Taylor. He's an aerospace, he's a rocket scientist.
Oh, cool. Right on.
But he's on Skinwalker Ranch, and he's been seeing all kinds of crazy shit. And he's like the funniest Texan I've seen, because he's just like, what the crap is that? Because he can't swear, but it's on TV.
Swear, yeah.
So, and like all kinds of arbitrary, crazy fucking UAPs and fucking all kinds of weirdness is happening on there. And he just goes, what the crap? So I want to ask him about what he's been seeing on Skinwalker Ranch. So I'd like Travis Taylor. I would like, who else? Some cool, smart people. Let's see. Miyamoto Musashi.
Good one.
Okay. And George Patton.
Great choices, dude. Great choices. You cook barbecue for all these people. That would be awesome. That would be.
I think Musashi would be the one being a little bit unhappy about it.
Yeah, yeah, probably. That'd be an epic barbecue either way. Final. Oh, he's got 2 more questions actually. What's your favorite hip hop group?
Hip hop group. I like old rap. I like fucking like Snoop Dogg. I like Dr. Dre. I like Tupac.
Classics.
I like classics. I like Beastie Boys. I like the old shit. The old shit's way cooler. The new stuff is not so cool. You can only sing about fucking driving by and getting the bitches and counting your stacks so much,
Yeah, fuck, it's boring. Yeah, for sure. No, I appreciate the old school rap too. I always find myself just going back to like 90s rap all the time.
Yeah.
The final question from Kyle is pancakes or waffles?
Both.
Both. If you had to pick one, if you had to pick one though, if one had to go,
I like waffles.
Yeah, good choice. Good choice. Kyle, we appreciate the questions, man. Kyle's again a longtime listener out from your neck of the woods. Kurt, he's from California, so appreciate you, Kyle. Next question, and this might be the last one actually. No, we got two more. Allison from Tampa Bay, Florida. She says, "Hi, Ryan and Kurt." She says, "I'm a blue belt mom and I absolutely love jiu-jitsu. Kurt, I know that you've taught lots of kids classes, and Ryan, I know that your kids do jiu-jitsu as well. I follow you on Instagram and I see you making posts with training with your son. He's adorable, by the way." Thank you, Allison. Appreciate that. What advice would you offer a blue belt mom to teach her kids at home? If I'm being honest, I can't quite afford to put both my kids in jiu-jitsu right now because they have other activities as well. But I'm hoping in the next year or two, I can get them started as their activities wrap up. Thanks in advance for the advice. So teaching your own kids, teaching kids one-on-one, Kurt, what are your thoughts?
Well, there's a lot you can do. I mean, especially getting them connected to their body, just rolling with them is going to help them because they're going to know, I got to achieve this position when this happens, situational stuff. It really translates well to when you're training, because there's so many outlets and variables that are happening, and then once they're like conditioned into moving the correct way, and if they move the wrong way, that's when you stop and you go, okay, that's the wrong way to move, and you correct it, which is really good. The blue belt mom, she should roll with them, and then if they're gonna do positions, just make them do basics over and over again, totally perfect, which is that's gonna be everything for when they can go to regular jiu-jitsu and they just do their basics really good. If they just have a good pass, side control, and then switching base and mounting and doing mounted attacks and then taking the back, we already are getting pretty deep into like every position that's worth of a high score value, and then being able to contain it and then transition, and then again, you can make them do movement drills on a heavy bag or on each other. So there's so much you can do. If I had kids, they'd fucking hate me. Fuck, it'd be awful.
You're just sitting there with your morning star, like, no, do your UPA again.
Your gentle mom blue beltness will be really, really good if you just did basics and rolled with them. And by the time they get older, they'll be able to fend for themselves and expand on their information pool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Yeah, Allison, my advice would be that my kid, he's only 3. My daughter's doing gymnastics right now. She'll start jiu-jitsu soon, but my kid's 3. He started at the beginning of the year. Everything I do with him is a game. Everything is some kind of play game, fun thing. So usually like he's Batman, I'm Joker, or I'm, insert villain. And everything's just a game, but the games that we play are all very specifically designed to do specific movements. Like the way to win the game and beat the bad guy is by doing specific movements. And I actually I made a post recently on my Instagram, at Gringo Ryan, where I show everything my kid knows in jiu-jitsu at 3 years old. And I kind of explained in detail, like how I got him to that point. So if you're interested, you can check that out too, but make it fun, definitely make it fun. And yeah. And then Kurt, you gave tremendous advice that obviously making sure that he's got sharp positional understanding before he starts training. That's going to put him light years ahead of other kids that are just coming in for the first time. So
that's what kind of like my dad did with me. It's like, as soon as I was like 6, he finally said, okay, it's time to come away from your mother. And then he took me to soccer. And so I was playing soccer with adults ever since I'm like 6. Wow. And so that made me really good and very dangerous against the other small children.
Yeah.
Where I would just fucking kill them and I would win and score goals and everything. And that's like the advantage. And also my dad was a freestyle and a Greco fucking wrestler. So I would wrestle and fight him at home. So I knew about my body and how to throw other children on the floor.
That's awesome. You were very, very popular in the 3rd grade. Yeah. That's awesome.
in those delicate age, those delicate times, it's really important that, like, if you're getting picked on and he's like, look, if you get picked on, just throw the child on the floor and I'll pick you up from the office.
Yeah.
And that's why I love my dad. I'd be like, he's down at the office again, Mr. Osiander.
And he has to be like, oh, damn. Like he has to pretend like he's upset.
Yeah. He's like, what happened? I go, fuck, this guy fucking pushed me, took my kickball. And then what? Then I threw him into the sky.
Did your dad push you pretty hard in soccer? Did he? How do you say kick the ball fucker in German?
Fuck. I don't remember how to say kick.
I want to relive this a little bit. I want to imagine I'm young Kurt.
Schießen den Ballen. But no, my dad was like I am with children's class. He also has a potty mouth. That's where I learned how to swear, was at soccer.
You sound 10 times angrier than you actually are in German.
That's why it's a romance language also.
Yes, very much. Oh man. Well, Allison, I appreciate the question. And yeah, if you're actively training and involving your kids, I'm sure everything's going to be great. So way to go there. All right, Kurt, final question comes from Joseph in Virginia. He says, what's up, Kurt? I love all your videos and everything you do. I got my black belt not long ago. It's been my dream for many years to have my own team and open my own school. The issue is opening a school is expensive as hell, and I stupidly fucked up my credit when I was younger. So getting loans is really out of the question. I'm trying to think of some alternative ways that I can either get the money up or start small and grow. I just feel like I'm teaching people. I just feel like if I'm teaching people in a garage, they're not going to be as interested as if they could just go to a real gym. Any tips you could offer would be really appreciated, because it's frustrating feeling trapped and unable to move forward on my dream.
But he's doing he's doing it in his garage. That's how fucking a lot of the Gracies started in garages, And otherwise, if there is a martial arts school in your area that's like established and has mat space, you might want to entertain them with like the thought of, okay, I can bring in jiu-jitsu and you'll get more students, and there'll be also crossovers that will want to sign up for the jiu-jitsu program. If they're not too sometimes they feel threatened by that.
Yeah.
But a good businessman will realize that it will expand his own student body, right? It's not saying that your martial art is inferior, but it gives you a different flavor, right? So there's groundwork, there's stand-up, there's wrestling, there's taekwondo, there's, whatever you got, right?
I like how you kept the Southern twang with taekwondo. You only needed it for wrestling, but you kept going with taekwondo, Muay Thai, little bit of Wang Chong.
So needless to say, there might be an existing martial arts school that would benefit, and you could benefit, and you could post up inside and take percentages, and then keep all the privates and semi-privates for yourself. And you could start building off of that. And then eventually, maybe that you want to do a partnership with this guy, or you're so established in the society now that you have that seed growing, and then you can fucking open up a little spot, and then to a medium spot, and then to a large spot in your area, and self-sustain.
That's great advice. Yeah, I think that's a good approach, man. Like finding like a karate or taekwondo school, maybe offering to split the rent to some degree. Like maybe you can, if you're teaching a few times a week, maybe you can work out something where if you can't afford the space to rent yourself, maybe you can help alleviate the rent of the guy that has the lease, So that's
right.
That's a
there
cool
would
idea.
Have to be like how you get like a spot and you get like 3 months free.
Yeah.
Like, try to talk to this guy and go, look, let me see how many students I can build this up to using my input into the society, and also recruiting from your own student base, who will be interested in this. And, and for the existing student base, they only have to pay this much more, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then people who are coming from the outside coming in, they pay this much.
Yeah.
Right. And then you see how much the numbers are at the end of the month. And then there's a percentage breakdown.
Absolutely. Yeah. Kurt, I also like what you said about the idea that you should not be ashamed to start in a garage, because that's where many, many, many of the biggest teams started in a garage somewhere.
Shit, Chris Howder's still in his garage.
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah, he keeps it. Exactly. And I mean, yeah, for a lot of people, like he was saying that one of his concerns is that people might feel like, I could either train in a garage or I could go to like a big established school somewhere. For some people, being in the garage and then moving with you as you transition into a bigger space, it gives them like a real sense of pride and like a sense of prestige. Like, man, I was that part of that initial garage group.
Exactly.
As this team
I started
grows
in the garage days.
Yeah,
man.
dude, I'm one of the OGs of the team,
Yeah.
And that's for a lot of people, that's a really cool thing. And a lot of people don't want to be lost in an ocean of students. They don't necessarily want to be part of an army. They want to be part of a smaller group where they feel like they get a little bit more one-on-one time and personal focus. So yeah, don't feel discouraged if you can't have a big space right from the jump. You'll grow into it, I'm sure. And Kurt, that was great advice, man, about reaching out to a school that maybe doesn't have a jiu-jitsu program, that might want to have one, or might want to, at the very least, alleviate some of the pains of their rent, if you can help pitch in with rent. So good advice. And that was Joseph from Virginia. I hope it all works out, man. Kurt, I know you got to run, man. You got physical therapy. What are some big goals for 2025, buddy? We're going to have you on again before the year's over, but what are you focusing on most right now?
I'm just trying to get my strength back. I'm lifting, and I tell you what, bro, weights are heavy, and it's hot as fuck here. And I'm going to have to go drag the sled in a few hours. Right, today is moderate. It's only 80 something, but it's out on the black tarmac, and I got to drag, weights up and down for the warm up, and then I'll lift upper body today. And yeah, so it's building up really slow because I was off for a long time. I expected to be able to come back really fast, and it's going to take the amount of time that I stayed off to come back. And I might not even make it back to like full power, but I just want to look really good and be able to move well and teach really well. That's my primary goals. If I can get back to fighting, we'll see. But I just want to be fit. I don't want to be one of them fat ass coaches that's trying to teach. I just can't be that. I'll fucking kill myself. All right. So I have to be fit, and I have to be flexible, and I have to be able to teach really well, because that is kind of like my primary goal.
That's awesome. And guys, also Kurt's open for seminars. He's doing seminars all over the place. This year so far, he's been to Virginia. He's been to Florida a couple times. Where else have you been, Kurt? Florida, Virginia.
I don't remember.
Yeah, there was somewhere else. But anyways, he's open for seminars. If you guys want to have Kurt out to your academy for a seminar, guaranteed it's going to be a good time. Email koseminars@gmail.com. That's where you can get in touch with Kurt to book seminars.
England and Australia, if you want another tour, I'm ready to do it when you guys want to do it.
Hit him up, guys. koseminars@gmail.com. Also, guys, if you can't make it to one of Kurt's seminars, or if you can't get out to San Francisco where he teaches, you can learn from him anywhere in the world here at BJJFanatics.com. His instructional is one of our best sellers. It's called Fundamentals of a Jiu-Jitsu Renegade. And you can pick that up right now at BJJFanatics.com. To keep up with Kurt, he's active on Facebook, so you can follow him there. He's on Instagram. Osiander Kurt is his name on Instagram. YouTube is Kurt Osiander. Just find his channel, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notified when new videos get added. Also, he's got a website coming soon. It's under construction. It's KurtOsianderBJJ.com. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that to be completed very soon. And Kurt, I look forward to the next one, man. We'll do another one very soon here. We won't wait as long as we did on the last one.
Right on.
All right, buddy. And that's going to do it for this episode, everybody. I really appreciate you tuning in. Please stay tuned for the next episode of the BJJ Fanatics podcast.